Hey guys, Shalana here. Welcome to the Bin Zone. On today's video, we're talking about the Batman and a hot take, this is the best live action Batman movie ever, bar none. And the Riddler is the second best Batman villain of all time. And that's not the hot take. And the number one live action Batman villain of all time is none other than Bane. I told you guys, hot take. I don't know, the Joker just doesn't work for me as a live action villain as well as these other guys. I mean, when it comes to Bane, we had the backstory, we have the quotables.
Oh, you think darkness is your ally? You merely adopted the dark. I was born in it, molded by it.
And then we have the Riddler played by Paul Dano, and just the complexity that this character brings about, just the fact that his character is fully fleshed out. Like, he has a backstory. We learn about the character, and the character himself actually is believable. The depth of this character, the humanization of the Riddler is what makes him work. Same thing with Bane. Bane and the Riddler come off as very human and plausible characters. And when it comes to a character like the Joker himself is an ideal, is a sort of ethereal idea of a being. Like, he has no backstory, he has no driving force besides his one-sided affair with Batman, his one-sided obsession. And while it makes for a great movie, his character just doesn't have the depth that some of these other characters have. It's hard to relate to the Joker character. Sure, he's cool, but the relatability factor is not there. But when it comes to the Riddler, a poor, disenfranchised individual, grew up in the system, and we see time and time again the downtrodden have been cast aside by society, and he's overlooked. And having that type of motivational factor, and him seeing that all the hope he had in the system, injustice, in the way the world was supposed to work, all of that failed him at every turn. And of course, he turns to crime, which I don't condone, but like, you can see how the character itself goes down that path. And ultimately, at the end of the movie, the Riddler won. This is one of the things that really blew my mind throughout the movie. At the end, when he's talking to Batman behind the glass and he's telling Batman, like, damn, like, you're not as smart as I thought. Like, bruh, you still can't figure this out. Batman could not figure out the Riddler's master plan, and ultimately the Riddler did what he set out to do. The Riddler destroyed Gotham, killed off all the politicians, created a whole new wave. He did more in his few months of terror than Batman has been doing for a year and a half. He's actually did fundamental changes in Gotham. Granted, his methods of killing corrupt politicians, fucked up, flooding the city and destroying it, fucked up, but ultimately, he made lasting change. He won. Batman was not able to outsmart him, and that's what made this movie so great. That's what made this movie the best Batman movie to me, because everybody knows Batman has hands. Like, when it comes to whooping ass, Batman has hands. Of course, unless your name is Bane. But besides the fact, it's not just an action-packed movie. Like, you expect punches and ass whooping, and you get that because this movie's brutal. Robert Pattinson's Batman, Matt Reeves, the way he directed and wrote this movie, the level of violence and the way Batman just fucks people up is insane. Imagine being a security guard, you're fucking working in Gotham, you're just doing your job, and Batman comes in and beats the living shit out of you to an inch of your life. That's just how savage this Batman is. This movie doesn't just focus on the physicality of Batman, it's more about the mind, the mental warfare. And he's a detective, and it's more a cat and mouse. It's more akin to trying to find a serial killer and a noir thriller than an action-packed superhero movie. And that is the root of what Batman is as a character. It's not all the badass explosions, ass whooping, it's his smarts. Batman, ultimately, his greatest weapon besides his billions and billions of dollars is, of course, his mind. So this movie really has us dive deep into the psyche of what and who Batman is. And man, dog, like, this movie was insanely good. And the character of Batman was amazing. His presence, every time Batman took a step, you felt it. The score, the music, the beat, the way everything worked. Batman was intimidating, and he said very little, and he never shouted. He was never loud. We all know Christian Bale's Batman. We're talking like this. Where is he? And we all know Ben Affleck's Batman, who's a little bit not voicey, but he has his voice modulated. But this Batman, he whispers. He doesn't talk loud, and everyone hears him, because when you have that type of power, when you step in and everyone can feel your presence, even a whisper, everyone can hear you. And just the overall presence of Batman, even though Robert Pattinson's not huge, he's not cocky, he's not like, you felt Batman's presence. But I will say where this movie does lack is it lacks in Bruce Wayne. Robert Pattinson's Batman, great. His Bruce Wayne's, I wasn't really feeling it. Like the emo haircut, I wasn't feeling it. But good thing that in this movie, it's like 85% Batman and like 10% Bruce Wayne. So you never have to actually see him be Bruce Wayne for too long. And what really cements this movie as being great is the fact that this movie has Catwoman. I mean, my favorite Batman movie has Catwoman. My favorite Batman villain, Bane, was in my previously favorite Batman movie with Catwoman in there. But not just Catwoman. Even though Zoe Kravitz's Catwoman, phenomenal, it's the cast of characters. Catwoman, Penguin, Falcone, Alfred, James Gordon, just even the random DA and the other characters. Just the way Gotham in this world is so dark, so twisted, so corrupted, and so close to being the real world. Like, I could see this Gotham being like fucking Chicago or New York. The way that the city as a whole felt so real. The cast of characters stood out. And the fact that with all these characters, all fully fleshed out characters in their own rights, and all of them could have been the antagonist of this movie, the Riddler stands above all of them. Man. But anyway, guys, I just wanted to give you guys my thoughts on the Batman and how the Riddler transcends all other Batman villains besides Bane to really become one of the best live action villains. And the Riddler never threw a single punch, not a fight, not a single violent. Okay, let me not say violent because, you know, he killed somebody, a few people, but the Riddler was not a physical threat. He even says so to Batman, like, his relationship with Batman and his dichotomy with Batman worked on such a symbiotic level that it was far more captivating to me than the Joker and Batman's relationship in The Dark Knight, because the Riddler could not have completed any of his tasks without Batman, and they almost fed off of each other. Batman created the Riddler had Batman help him, and ultimately they both worked in conjunction to destroy and reset Gotham, but the Riddler ultimately won because his plan came through. Man, and when he tells Batman, like, I could never have done this without you. Like, I don't have the muscle. I can't go in the club and tussle with the people in there, but you were able to do it. Magnifique. Great movie. Anyway, guys, that's my thoughts on the Batman. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comment section below. And if you like this video, give it a thumbs up, hit the subscribe button, and until next time, binge on.